Hot takes are useless, bad, and I hate them. Hey, how's it going? Hope you're doing well, and today I felt like torturing myself. And what better way to do that than to ask my fans about their G&B hot takes? You know me, I'm no stranger to hot takes, and I think it's great to have your own opinion, so why not ask my viewers for some of theirs? So I created a community post asking for your guys' hot takes, and here we are. Also, just a heads up, in case you were falling asleep like 10 seconds ago, there will be opinions in this video that you may not agree with, so if you can't handle people disagreeing with you, I'd suggest you click off the video now. Alright, let's get into the takes. Starting with one I semi-agree with. The metronome for musicians should be removed. Ever since it's been added, I've seen barely anyone use musician, unless they're using the bugle. It's not fun to have to focus on the game all the time if you want to be 100% helpful. And you know, I totally agree with this. The musician class in general just isn't very fun or engaging unless you're using the bugle. My personal solution to this would be to add a sort of meter to the drum/fife that will charge up when you play your tunes. Or something along the lines of that. Now the thing is, I have no idea what the buff could be once you fill up your meter. Could be like a passive swing speed buff for the drums, and for the fife, well, I honestly don't know. But yeah, I love carpal tunnel. Bombers need to be nerfed in some way. I'm tired of putting my... Okay, no. If you run up to a bomber and expect your random set of teammates to just not shoot it, that's your fault, not the game. I'm sorry. Piping hot take. Metas are stupid and ruin the game. All weapons are good. True. I also think metas are stupid. That's why I made the Exorcism Crucifix video. And of course I got a bit of slack for that. And listen, I get why people don't like the Exorcism Crucifix, and I understand that the normal crucifix is wholly superior. Pun intended. However, waiting 40 seconds for your special ability to recharge just so you can sit still for another 15 seconds and watch your teammates get all the kills is, get this, not fun. Some people have tried to argue that the Exorcism Crucifix is no different, but at the very least you have to actually do something to charge up your meter. But anyways, I do agree that metas are stupid. However, I do take issue with that last statement. Like, look at the rifle. Why would you ever use this thing over the infantry's other firearms? Is the rifle good? Personally, I think all weapons are usable would have been a lot better. Officers should get exclusive weapons, like maybe a heavy officer's saber. It would add a lot more content to a barbarian class. Do not give officer the heavy saber. That would be overpowered as shit. I agree with the first part though. No one talks about the lance, and it's genuinely like one of the best weapons for any endless map because of its crazy crowd control. I agree. The lance is a very overlooked weapon, especially on endless. I personally like to pair it with the heavy saber for when I need to reposition, and the tar bottle to take out bombers. Definitely works better on endless compared to objective, but it's by no means a bad weapon. The stakes, albeit fun, is the weakest, not terrible, building in the game. There's no reason for you to use it since your team is the one damaging the undead. In hardcore, its effect is barely noticeable and gets destroyed faster. It is only useful if your team is not doing their job, but by that case, it's much better to leave the server. And yeah, he continues on. I disagree. The extra damage is a lot more impactful than most people think, ever since it got buffed. Especially on hardcore or medium to high wave endless. I personally think the caltrops are Sapper's weakest construct, but they're definitely not bad by any means. Rifles should be the starting weapon for new players. I completely disagree, but you do you, man. Brass pistol officer is just as good, if not better, than any Seaman. The brass pistol is amazing and I love it. Better than the Seaman? Yeah, no. No, just no. Caltrops are extremely useful. I agree. Despite what I said about them a few seconds ago, I do think they're very underutilized by the average player, and I wish more people would try them out. The saber is better than the heavy saber. That's just, like, wrong. I really don't know what to add to this. The heavy saber's downside of only doing extra damage with the up and down thrust means literally nothing once you learn to flick. Definitely a hot take. Rifle is funny as fuck when used at the finale of Catacombs. Now, I agree that getting long-range snipes with the rifle can be satisfying. I won't deny that. However, the game is most fun in small to mid-sized servers. Dude, I don't even need to read the whole comment because that is a truth nuke. I 100% agree with you here. 20-player servers are a cakewalk, and I honestly think it's hindering new players by making them too reliant on their teammates to do everything for them. San Sebastian is the most boring map. Almost 99% of servers keep voting it, and unless your team is garbage, it is almost impossible to lose, making the map pretty repetitive. San Sebastian is only repetitive because people always vote for it. And people always vote for it because it's generally pretty easy, decently long, and has their favorite NPC. But anyways, yeah, San is a fine map. Just vote for something else every once in a while, please. All of Chaplin's upgrades suck. This isn't really a hot take, it's more of an objective fact, but yeah, Chaplin's unlocks are pretty underwhelming, and I'd love to see them get a few buffs, even if I do enjoy using the Exorcism. Very hot take, the pickaxe may or may not be better than the axe. Pickaxe mains all the way, I wouldn't trade that faster swing speed for anything. Okay, maybe the spade. Rifle is actually a good gun. The rifle is a usable gun. That does not mean it's good. They should give musician access to the heavy saber as they're part of the same No. No! Yeah, absolutely fucking not. God, imagine that with the bugle. The air rifle is too expensive for what it's actually worth. I mean, I guess, but like, just play the game? I know that might sound mean or something, but 10,000 francs really isn't that hard to get, and the air rifle is awesome and a ton of fun, so I'm going to have to disagree with you there. Construct stakes only, no barricades. I do not know who this guy is or why he thinks his opinion matters, but this comment is based and true. Also, Jake, good luck on your job. The boarding axe is better than the hand axe. It's probably because of the slower speed. If you're wondering why that's better, it's because I'm more used to the saber, so the hand axe feels too fast for me and I end up missing some of my hits. That's good for you, man. And I don't want to ruin your fun or anything because you can use whatever you want, but like, no, just no. The boarding axe has basically nothing going for it aside from the fact that the pick side does like, I think 145 damage with the headshot, and it definitely needs a few buffs. Looks so much fucking cooler than the hand axe though, so it's probably better. No. The tar bottle is better than the grenades. Now, if this video is made when the tar bottle first came out, I'd probably disagree with this. But after using them for a few months, I'd have to agree. They're better for taking out bombers, better for saving teammates, and really good if you're in a corner because burning zombies can't actually grab or slap you. The grenades are still the GOAT at taking out hordes, but yeah, tar bottle's awesome. Playing musician is fun, only if you're using the bugle. Sapper is easily the most unbalanced class in the game. The ability to hold ground so effectively compared to the other classes makes the rest of them revolve around Sapper. Since even though some may have effective skills to take ground like charging and crucifix, they just can't hold the ground as well as Sapper, making Sapper vital to the average server. The Sapper is a good defensive class, but I wouldn't say he's an overpowered class, or even the best class for that matter. His primaries all have slow swing rates, aside from the spade, making him only pretty good offensively, and it takes a bit of time to set up his defenses. All I'm saying is there's a reason the infantry is the base class. Sapper is overrated. Most public servers will beg to have more Sappers even though there is already one or two. See? This guy understands it. This is a pretty long one, but the basic gist of it is just officer is the best support class. Not really a hot take, but I somewhat agree. I'd argue the bugler is nearly if not just as good as the officer in terms of support, but it honestly just depends on what your team needs. Best strip though, I'm sorry, but have you seen the musicians? I like Berezina unfathomably based. The new Vardahouse remake is not good. Varda was better before the remake. I strongly disagree with these statements, but hey, it's just an opinion. The DB pistol needs to be nerfed as it's just a straight upgrade in practice. There is literally nothing it does worse than the stock pistol. I don't care what the nerf is, but it should be nerfed. All they gotta do is increase the spread. Maybe the reload time, but yeah, definitely nerf the spread. The heavy saber is overhyped. No, it's actually kinda crazy how much better it is compared to the regular saber. Air rifle is ass, prove me wrong. The air rifle is garbage and a waste of francs. Barrels exist. Need I say more? The Russian callouts are bad. You know, I really don't have an opinion on this. Hey, what do you think, Alex?
Я разрублю тебя на части, разорву на куски, размажу кровавые ошметки твоей оскверненной формы по звездам. Я буду терзать тебя до тех пор, пока сами звезды не начнут взывать о милосердии. Мои руки с наслаждением покончат с тобой здесь и сейчас.
The Exorcism Crucifix is sometimes better than the stock Crucifix because sometimes people don't kill the zombies when stunned. Once unstunned, all the zombies pile up and kill everyone. The Exorcism Crucifix eliminates it since it just slows and deals damage to zombies. Maybe? Like, listen, I love the Exorcism Crucifix. I think it's fun and all, but the normal Crucifix is just so much better in nearly every situation. This one included. Now, you could make an argument for it being better on Endless, but yeah, that's about it. The Guts and Black Powder community, at large, is really annoying.
When you're one of the first 3 or 4 people to make that comment, it's almost interesting. By the time you are the 100th person to make essentially the same comment, it tells me a few things about you, such as you're not very observant that you didn't notice 99 people had already made the comment. You're also not very imaginative. It becomes trite, derivative, and boring.
Supporters making fake sneak peeks is funny. What do you mean fake? They're literally real. Corona in the next update, guys. Every Sapper unlock is either a straight downgrade or slightly worse side grade. Gonna have to disagree with you on that one. The spade and pickaxe are both fine weapons, and I'm always happy when I'm playing Sapper and one of my teammates happens to be using the spade. Love that bomb resistance. Plus, Siege Engineer armor and the spade create the Juggernaut, and it's really fun. You should try it. I honestly might make a video on it because of how fun it is. Entrenching walls is useless. Sort of a follow-up to the last one, but no, I completely disagree. Giving your buildings the ability to survive even just some explosions is incredibly powerful and has definitely saved my ass a handful of times. 40 extra health isn't all that noticeable, but it's definitely saved me more times than I can remember, so I'm not complaining. I think viral runners should be buffed. The viral runners used to be a lot stronger than they are now, and no, I completely disagree. They sucked so much. I wish they'd put a revolver type weapon in the game for officers since it makes sense. True. Roscoff is too easy. I somewhat agree, but to be honest, G and B is too easy if you ask me. So the axe is by far the best melee in the game. I personally like the heavy saber more, but yeah, the axe is definitely an S tier weapon. The Halloween boss is the easiest boss in the game. You clearly have not fought Zombie Santa, but whatever you say, dude. Seaman is an underrated class that people should play more than What? Huh? I mean, people definitely play infantry a lot more than Seaman, but underrated? Really? I think most players understand that the Seaman is an incredibly strong class. If you want my take on this though, I personally think the Seaman and infantry are pretty interchangeable, with the Seaman being better on Endless due to the large hordes. But I'm sorry man, infantry is just too good. The heavy saber is just too fucking good. Rifleman kinda sucks. Most Seaman and Officer just do the jobs better. Their only good gimmick is with the bayonet charge synergy, but sappers with the axe can do way better, especially with the 5 times headshot bonus. There's also the range, which can be helpful, but may I suggest the knock gun? The bayonet isn't a gimmick, and the axe definitely isn't as good as a bayonet charge. Like, what? Also, 2.2 spread. 2.2 spread. They should buff the musket bayonet. No. Just no. I mean, I think the footage already speaks for itself, but again, no. Sappers should be able to have a musket to be more historically accurate. It can have some nerfs like no bayonet, and it can replace your axe so you can't defend yourself in close quarter situations. This is a terrible idea. First of all, the bayonet wouldn't be a good replacement for the axe, but that doesn't even matter because you won't get one anyways? What? Just what was the logic behind this take? Anyways, no. A sapper without any of his melees is just not good at all. Straight into the dumpster you go. Fifes are useful. I mean, yeah, that's fair. The faster reload and build speed is definitely useful in most situations. However, the Fifer isn't fun in the slightest, and I'll be sticking to my bugle. Not sure if this counts, but I think the default sapper axe is really underwhelming as a weapon. The pickaxe is genuinely the best melee option in the game, being leagues better than even the heavy saber. Nah, I like the pickaxe and all, but saying it's leagues better than the heavy saber is just flat out disingenuous if you ask me. The hand axe is okay, but is outclassed by the heavy saber and the boarding axe and needs a little buff. Yeah, I'm sorry, but the hand axe is just consistently better than the boarding axe. Faster swing rate, more range, and higher DPS overall. Now, obviously I agree that the heavy saber is more powerful than the hand axe, but I mean, come on, it's the heavy saber. Hot take, carbine sucks. Carbine is just a hat that only has one bullet. No, the carbine doesn't suck. In fact, it's one of the best guns in the game if you ask me. Though I like almost every gun, so that isn't really saying much. Almost every gun. The navy pistol is good, but the brass pistol is bad. I get that the brass pistol is literally just the navy pistol with weaker stats, but that doesn't mean it's bad. In fact, because it's an officer gun, there's a very real argument to be made that the brass pistol is actually better than the navy pistol due to granting large amounts of charge on headshot kills. Hot take, the navy pistol is overrated. The blunderbuss can hit 60 zombies while the navy can only hit 20. Trading an extra 40 zombies for like only a 2-second faster reload is not a good deal. Kind of a follow-up to the last one, and to be honest, I disagree. First of all, the navy pistol can kill 40 shamblers in a single shot, not 20. Second of all, come on, when have you gotten 60 kills with a single blunderbuss shot? And finally, the navy pistol isn't even that hyped up to begin with. It's the carbine for Seaman. Yeah, the navy pistol is a great tool if you want to play offensively as Seaman, and I will not tolerate any hate towards it. Alright, one last take and we're done here. They should change the lance aiming back to what it was in third person, where it stays static and doesn't aim. No other melee weapons other than the bayonet does it. If they did that, it would allow more awareness without having the pike poke their toes, and if they did, I would become the greatest line infantry main because I would actually like using the good weapons. I'd probably agree with this a few months ago, but after using the pike for a while, I actually think the current third person aiming is alright. I like the ability to headshot zombies without having to go first person. However, it is kind of annoying when you're trying to clear hordes in third person because the pike usually, like he says, just clips the zombie's feet most of the time. I think adding the ability to switch between modes with the direction lock button would be amazing. And that about wraps it up. These were just the takes that I found most interesting or funny. But if you have one, please comment down below. I'll definitely read your comment, and I'll definitely be friendly if I disagree with you. Anyways, you know the drill. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you'd be so kind, join my Discord to submit art and hot takes, and this is me signing out. Goodbye.
I hear Hunter.